don't even get me started on Usher and Justin Bieber.
What are we doing?
Like, Usher and Justin Bieber are like right-hand man soldiers #1 and #2. And you can take that term I just said in any way you want. I didn't mean it to sound that way, but it kind of did. And it's fun. Here we are. We're here now. And it's pretty much it. And it's just like, we know, listen, I don't have the clip of Bieber pulled up, but I've got this, dude. This clip of Usher explaining his time with P. Diddy that's just out in the open, Howard Stern show. Listen to this. 2016 we were here. Listen.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to
City.
something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called.
Okay, we have a lot to unpack
What
here.
are we doing?
We have a lot to unpack in this video, so buckle up. It's we called it Puffy's Flavor Camp. Is that what it is? That's what it was. I didn't go. I wasn't invited to that either. Puffy's Flavor Camp. Oh, red flag #1. At 13 years old? Okay. Puffy's Flavor Camp, dude. And like, dude, this whole clip, watch Usher's face, okay? He's uncomfortable. He doesn't want to talk about it. This is a topic that he thought that maybe wasn't going to get brought up, but fortunately it did. And this was even back in 26. I mean, Puffy's Flavor
Sean
Camp.
Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to
City.
something called...
L.A. Reid's, lock him up.
What are we doing?
Aiding and abetting. It's a serious thing.
Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In
to...
the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really.
So, and this, how fun and how disgusting is Howard Stern, by the way? Like, hey, dude.
What are we doing?
We just established he was 13 years old, and you're throwing out the fact that Puffy's house was just filled with naked chicks and orgies the entire time.
Yeah, that's what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and
Disgusting.
orgying like nonstop,
Disgusting.
right?
No, not really. I
Come
mean,
on.
but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you
I
seeing?
went there to see the lifestyle,
Right.
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild. It was,
So
it was
nobody
crazy.
tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I ain't say that.
Okay.
Okay.
What are we doing?
He didn't say a woman came along. He's there for the lifestyle, the indulgence. He's confused because he's a 13-year-old child within a house. I think Puff was probably like 21 at the time. So even he was insanely young, dude. This Hollywood situation where these children are out on their own, like even 21, I understand some would argue, but you're still kind of like an idiot.
What are we doing?
Like, let's just be honest. At 21 years old, let alone 13, you don't even understand what's going on around you. And when she asks, like, hey, women didn't try to come, like, put their titties in their face, and he's like, no, I didn't say that. It was dicks. It was a lot of dicks.
But I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody
it was crazy.
tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I ain't say that.
Okay.
No, because it was men.
What are we doing? I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls.
Very curious things taking place that he didn't understand, because up until this point, he assumed that men and women do this privately in the private. Like, come on.
What are we doing?
Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil Kim,
no.
Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans,
And your parents
Jodeci,
were
Mary J.
okay?
Blige. They didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
Of course his parents didn't know.
What are we doing?
This is what we're talking about, folks. When we're in the 90s and even now, like, this is why all the documentaries are coming out. Like, the parents were on set of the Nickelodeon shows and Dan Schneider still exists.
What are we doing?
It's a situation where like this has been going on now. Diddy's what, 50? And when he was 20 years old, it's been going on for 30 years. And we're just on Howard Stern talking about it loosely like it never had, like it's just a joke. It was funny. It was a fun, curious, I didn't understand it experience because I was 13 years old. Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim was there. Their names are all over the Diddy docs. I mean, it's a shame.
What are we doing?
I don't know. I don't know where to stay. I mean,
And your parents
Jodeci,
were
Mary
okay?
J. Blige, they didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh,
I was having a good time, you know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
and do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem.
Yeah.
I had like, you know,
What
like
a
a living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a
no, dude. Listen to when Howard says, "What a life," and then look at his face.
Can you
Ready?
stay up till 4
Watch,
a.m.
here it
with
goes.
them and party?
I mean, I
Uncomfortable.
could. I actually stayed up
uncomfortable.
longer than them.
And do you have money?
Watch.
What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem.
Yeah.
I had like, you know,
What
like
a
a living.
life.
Yes.
What a life.
What are we doing?
Does this look like the face of the man that had a great upcoming at 13 years old? His parents didn't give a shit where he was. He was new to the industry, and the biggest superstar at the time, Puff Daddy, Sean Diddy Combs, was bringing him in under his arm and just giving him everything, all of the advice, all of the attention, all of the money, all the backings he needs to be a successful superstar. And we've heard this time and time again with the Harvey Weinsteins of the world.
What are we doing?
We've heard this time and time again with the Epsteins of the world. It's very interesting. This case will be, I mean, the face of poor Usher. I mean, and then obviously we know, I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive Bieber got the same treatment. So, you know, it's a slippery freaking slope.
Going on?
I mean, I had like per diem.
Yeah.
I had like, you know,
What
like
a
a living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
See?
What are we doing?
Excuse me, we're just gonna end it right there. The biggest fucking bombshell of the whole clip, of the whole episode, of the whole year should have been that right there. Your father, would you send your children to Puffy camp, the camp you went to as a kid that raised you and molded you and not necessarily groomed you, but molded you into who you were today? Would you send your kids?
I had like, you know,
What
like
a
a living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
What?
14 years old.
dude?
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no. What are we doing?
Because he knows exactly what happens there, man. I mean, come on. It's a closed case. Diddy has no bail. It's crazy. It's a lot to unpack, and I think it's just. Meanwhile, we've got. Meanwhile, just one more fucking. Meanwhile, one more clip on Diddy. I have to do it. Meanwhile, we've got the Breakfast Club calling him out and him just dodging it. Watch this. Ready? He dodges the whole thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Would you like a reminder?
Yeah, sure.
Play some.
Hey, yo, listen, yo, I love it all. I love it all, man. I like when you like this, Daddy.
Yeah, where you put my bag?
Daddy, I like when you
it's right
scrambling
here,
and scraping for shit.
That was you.
Scrambling.
What? You said, I like when you do it like that, Daddy. When you scrambling and scraping for shit.
Hey, man.
That's it.
What are we doing?
That last line. Hey, man. ... That's exactly, what is this, court? This is Puff Daddy in court in a few months. They're going to bring up all this evidence. They're going to show him pictures of the lube on the wall. They're going to show him the videos of him beating the shit out of women. They're going to show him the illegal pornos he made. They're going to show all the evidence. And then as soon as they ask him, hey man, listen, Here's the evidence. What do you have to say about this?
What? You said, I like when you do it like that, Daddy, when you scrambling and scraping for shit.
Hey, man. What are we doing?
Hey, man, listen. It all makes sense now. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. It all comes down to the nonsensical part about it. We're just seeing the beginning of this whole entire